There comes a time in life when you must make a decision, not just any decision, but a life-altering one. A decision that determines whether you will live in exhaustion or in strength, whether you will be controlled by the expectations of others or walk in the freedom of truth. How many times have you stretched yourself thin, trying to please everyone? How many times have you said yes when you should have said no? How many nights have you lain awake, weary, drained, wondering why, after all your kindness, you still feel unappreciated, unloved, and unnoticed? I tell you today, it is not because you are not good enough. It is not because you are not worthy. It is because you have been giving your kindness without wisdom. You have been pouring out without ever stopping to ask, does everyone deserve access to me? My friends, hear me well. Stop being kind to everyone. Yes, you heard me right. Stop giving your love, your time, your energy to people who only take and never give. Stop allowing others to walk over you in the name of being nice. Stop mistaking weakness for kindness and start standing in the strength you were meant to have. Because the world does not respect a heart that is walked on. It respects a heart that is strong, a heart that loves but also knows its worth, a heart that serves but is not enslaved, a heart that knows kindness should never come at the cost of dignity. So tonight I ask you, are you ready to change? Are you ready to stop living for others' approval and start living in the truth? Because when you do, when you finally rise up and say, enough, that is when you will truly begin to live. Kindness is a virtue, but it has limits. You were not created to pour yourself out for people who only take and never give. Some will see your kindness as an opportunity, not a blessing. They will take advantage of your good heart, your willingness to help, and your patience. They will drain your energy, leaving you exhausted and wondering why no one is there for you when you need them. There is a dangerous lie that tells us we must be kind to everyone, no matter what. But true kindness is not about being endlessly available, endlessly forgiving, or endlessly giving. That is not kindness. That is self-destruction. You are not called to sacrifice your peace for people who refuse to respect you. You are not called to tolerate abuse in the name of kindness. Look at the life of the strongest and most righteous people in history. They were kind, but they were not foolish. They knew when to help and when to walk away. They knew that not everyone deserved their time, their energy, or their kindness. And you must learn this as well. If you give kindness to those who abuse it, you are not spreading goodness. You are enabling selfishness. If you always say yes when you should say no, you are not being loving, you are being controlled. It is time to stop being kind to everyone, not because you should be cruel, but because your kindness is valuable, and valuable things should not be wasted. Not all kindness is good. Some is weakness. We live in a world that praises kindness, but often confuses it with passivity. There is a kind of kindness that builds, uplifts, and strengthens, but there is also a kind of kindness that destroys. It is the kindness that comes from fear, the fear of rejection, the fear of confrontation, the fear of not being liked. This is not true kindness. This is weakness disguised as virtue. Too many people say yes when they want to say no. They allow others to walk all over them because they are afraid of being seen as unkind. But kindness that comes from fear is not kindness at all. It is surrender. It is letting others dictate your life because you don't have the courage to set boundaries. And when you do this, you don't just lose yourself, you lose the respect of those around you. A person who is truly kind knows when to stand firm. They know that kindness is not about always pleasing people, but about doing what is right. They know that sometimes the kindest thing you can do is say no, walk away, or refuse to tolerate what is wrong. If your kindness comes at the cost of your self-respect, then it is not kindness, it is weakness. And weakness invites exploitation. Boundaries protect your soul. Without them, you will find yourself exhausted, resentful, and empty. Some people believe that being kind means being endlessly available, but that is a dangerous trap. When you fail to set limits, you allow others to dictate your time, your energy, and even your emotions. True kindness is not about saying yes to everything. It is about knowing when to say no. It is about recognizing that your time and energy are precious, and not everyone deserves unlimited access to them. Some people will only take, never give. They will drain you, manipulate you, and leave you feeling used. If you do not set boundaries, you are not being kind, you are being reckless with your own well-being. Even the most loving, compassionate people in history had boundaries. They knew when to withdraw, when to walk away, when to say enough. Because love without boundaries is not love, it is slavery. Respect yourself enough to protect your peace. The world will take everything from you if you let it. Stand firm, know your worth. Stop giving everyone unrestricted access to your kindness. Some people mistake kindness for foolishness. The world is full of people who do not see kindness as a virtue, but as an opportunity to take advantage of you. They see your good heart as a weakness. Your generosity is something to exploit, and your patience is something to drain. They believe that because you are kind, you will always be available, always forgiving, always willing to sacrifice yourself for their benefit. This is why you must be careful. If you constantly give without discernment, you will attract the wrong people, users, manipulators, and deceivers. They will take what they can and move on when you have nothing left to give. And the worst part, when you finally stand up for yourself, they will call you selfish. They will act as if you have changed when in reality you have only woken up. Kindness should never mean allowing yourself to be walked over. If someone does not respect your kindness, they do not deserve it. You must be wise enough to see who values your goodness and who only seeks to use it. Because if you don't, the world will not thank you for your kindness, it will devour you for it. Love does not mean tolerating toxicity. Too many people believe that if they love someone, they must endure anything. Disrespect, manipulation, even abuse. They believe that love means always forgiving, always excusing, always giving another chance. But love without truth is not love at all. It is self-betrayal. Real love is strong, not blind. It does not allow evil to flourish in the name of kindness. If you constantly tolerate toxic behavior, whether from friends, family, or even those closest to you, you are not being loving, you are enabling destruction. You are allowing poison to spread in your life, draining your peace, your joy, and your purpose. Some people must be loved from a distance. Some relationships must be ended. Not because you lack love, but because you refuse to let love be corrupted by toxicity. There is nothing kind about letting someone mistreat you. There is nothing loving about allowing yourself to be hurt again and again in the name of patience. True love corrects, protects, and when necessary, walks away. Jesus was kind, but he was also firm. Too many people have a one-sided view of kindness, believing it means being soft, agreeable, and never confronting wrong. But true kindness is not weakness. It is strength under control. Look at the life of Jesus. He healed the sick, showed mercy to sinners, and welcomed the outcasts. But he also rebuked the hypocrites, overturned tables in the temple, and spoke the truth without fear. He was not afraid to call out deception, to stand against injustice, or to walk away from those who refused to listen. His kindness was never about pleasing people. It was about doing what was right. If you think being kind means avoiding conflict, never saying no, or letting people take advantage of you, then you have misunderstood kindness. True kindness has a backbone. It knows when to comfort and when to correct. It knows when to give grace and when to demand change. If even Jesus did not let himself be used or manipulated, why should you? Stop giving second chances to people who don't change. Forgiveness is a beautiful thing, but it is not the same as foolishness. Too many people mistake forgiveness for permission. They hurt you, apologize, and expect you to go back to the way things were, only to repeat the same behavior again. You must understand this. Change is proven by actions, not words. Someone who truly values you will show it, not just say it. But there are those who will take your kindness for granted, assuming you will always forgive, always tolerate, always give them another chance. And if you keep allowing it, they will never change, because they never have to. Forgiveness is for your peace, but boundaries are for your protection. You can forgive someone and still refuse to let them back into your life. You can wish them well, but refuse to let them continue hurting you. At some point, you must stop listening to apologies and start looking at actions. Some people don't need another chance. They need to experience the consequences of losing you. There is a time to turn the other cheek and a time to walk away. Many people misunderstand the idea of turning the other cheek, believing it means enduring endless mistreatment. But even the wisest and strongest people knew that while patience has its place, so does self-respect. Turning the other cheek does not mean you must stay in toxic relationships, tolerate disrespect, or keep forgiving those who show no remorse. It means you do not retaliate in anger, but it does not mean you allow yourself to be used. There is a difference between being merciful and being a victim. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Walk away from those who refuse to change. Walk away from relationships that drain you. Walk away from situations that rob you of peace. Walking away is not weakness, it is wisdom. Knowing when to turn the other cheek and when to leave is the balance between kindness and self-respect. Your kindness should be a gift, not an expectation. When you choose to be kind, it should come from a place of love and strength, not obligation or fear. But too often people assume that because you are kind, you must always be available, always giving, always ready to serve their needs. They treat your kindness like something they are entitled to, not something you freely offer. This is where you must be careful. When kindness becomes expected, it is no longer appreciated. The more you give without limits, the more people take without gratitude. And soon you find yourself trapped, afraid to say no, afraid to disappoint, afraid that if you stop giving, people will stop valuing you. But the truth is, those who only love you for what you give them never truly loved you at all. Real relationships, whether friendships, family, or love, should be built on mutual respect, not one-sided sacrifice. Your kindness is precious. Give it to those who cherish it, not to those who see it as their right. Let kindness be a gift, not a burden. Tough love is sometimes the best love. Real love is not about making people feel good all the time. It is about doing what is right, even when it is difficult. Too many people confuse love with constant softness, with always saying yes, with never correcting or confronting. But love without truth is empty, and kindness without strength is useless. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is to let them face the consequences of their actions. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to stop rescuing people who refuse to change. If you always shield someone from the results of their bad choices, you are not helping them, you are enabling them. True love does not encourage weakness, it calls people to be better. Think about it. Would a good parent let their child continue down a destructive path just because they don't want to upset them? Of course not. In the same way, being truly kind sometimes means being firm, setting boundaries, and saying, enough. It means refusing to allow your love to be an excuse for someone else's irresponsibility. Tough love is not unkind. It is the deepest kind of care. Being kind to everyone can distract you from your true calling. You were not put on this earth to please people. You were created with a purpose, a mission, something greater than just making others comfortable. But if you spend all your time trying to be kind to everyone, constantly saying yes, constantly giving, constantly making sure no one is upset with you, you will never have the time or energy to fulfill what you were meant to do. Not everyone is your responsibility. Not every problem is yours to solve. There are people who will drain you, not because they need help, but because they refuse to help themselves. And if you are too busy catering to their endless demands, you will miss the work that actually matters, the work you were created for. Even the greatest leaders in history knew they could not be everything for everyone. They knew that to fulfill their mission, they had to say no to distractions, to toxic relationships, to anything that pulled them away from their true calling. Your time, your energy, and your kindness are precious. Don't waste them on people who do not value them. Focus on what you were truly meant to do. The world respects those who respect themselves. Too often people believe that being endlessly kind will make others appreciate them. They think that by always saying yes, by always being available, by always putting others first, they will earn love, admiration, and respect. But the truth is, the world does not value those who do not value themselves. If you allow yourself to be used, people will use you. If you tolerate disrespect, people will disrespect you. If you never stand up for yourself, people will assume you have nothing worth standing for. That is the harsh reality. The more you give without limits, the more people will take without guilt. But when you set boundaries, when you show that your kindness is not weakness, people take notice. They may not always like it, but they will respect it. The world does not honor those who constantly bend to the will of others. It honors those who have the strength to stand firm. Your kindness should be an expression of your strength, not a result of fear. When you respect yourself, the world will have no choice but to do the same. Some people are meant to be loved from a distance. Not everyone in your life is meant to stay close. There are people you care about deeply, but their presence is draining. Their influence is toxic and their behavior is destructive. You can love them, you can pray for them, you can wish them well, but that doesn't mean they belong in your inner circle. Keeping someone in your life who constantly hurts you is not kindness, it's self-betrayal. You are not responsible for fixing people who refuse to change. You are not obligated to keep giving your time, your energy, and your heart to those who only take. At some point, love must be wise enough to let go. This doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you hold on to bitterness. It means you recognize that some relationships can only exist from a safe distance. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is step back and let people experience the consequences of their own choices. Letting go is not cruelty, it's wisdom. Love them, but don't destroy yourself in the process. Learn to say no without guilt. One of the greatest traps in life is believing that you must always say yes to be a good person. You fear that saying no will make you seem selfish, unkind, or unloving. But the truth is, every time you say yes to something that drains you, you are saying no to something that matters, your peace, your purpose, your well-being. People will try to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They will call you uncaring when you refuse to be used. They will act hurt when you stop sacrificing your time and energy for their endless demands. But that is not your burden to carry. You cannot build a meaningful life if you are constantly weighed down by the expectations of others. Saying no is not rejection, it is protection. It is protecting your time, your energy, and your focus. It is choosing what truly matters over what merely pleases people. Those who truly respect you will understand, and those who don't, they were never interested in you. They were only interested in what they could get from you. Say no without guilt. because your life is too valuable to be lived on other people's terms. Many people are kind not because they truly want to be, but because they're afraid of what will happen if they aren't. They fear rejection, they fear conflict, they fear losing relationships. So they become endlessly agreeable, always putting others before themselves, even at the cost of their own happiness. This is not kindness, it is fear in disguise. True kindness comes from a place of strength, not weakness. It is a choice, not an obligation. When you are kind because you genuinely want to be, because you know your worth, and because you believe in treating others with respect, that is real kindness. But when you are kind out of fear, fear of upsetting people, fear of not being liked, fear of confrontation, then you are not truly being kind. You are being controlled. The world needs more people who are kind and strong, not kind and afraid. Strength does not mean being harsh, rude, or unkind. It means having the wisdom to know when to be gentle and when to stand firm. It means knowing that your kindness should never come at the cost of your self-respect. There will be times when people will test you, when they will see how far they can push you, how much they can take from you. If your kindness is not backed by strength, you will be used, drained, and left empty. But if your kindness is built on confidence, wisdom, and boundaries, then it becomes something powerful, something that inspires respect, not just affection. So ask yourself, is your kindness coming from fear, or is it coming from strength? If it is fear, it is time to change. Because kindness without strength is a weakness the world will exploit. But kindness with strength is a force no one can break. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they owe their time, energy, and kindness to everyone. They think that to be a good person, they must be available for anyone who needs them. But the truth is, access to you is a privilege, not a right. If you give yourself to everyone, you will have nothing left for the things that truly matter. There are people who will drain you, who will only reach out when they need something, who will take and take until there is nothing left. And if you are not careful, you will spend your life being exhausted, resentful, and empty. You must learn to protect your space. Your peace is valuable. Your energy is valuable. Your presence is valuable. You do not owe unlimited access to anyone who asks for it. Just because someone wants your time does not mean you have to give it. Just because someone demands your kindness does not mean they deserve it. The strongest people in history knew this truth. They knew they could not be everything for everyone. They knew that if they spent all their energy on the wrong people, they would never be able to fulfill their true purpose. Even the most compassionate, loving individuals had boundaries. So take a hard look at your life. Who is draining you? Who is using you? Who is taking more than they give? It is not selfish to protect yourself. It is necessary. The right people will understand. The wrong people will be angry. And that is how you will know who truly belongs in your life. Not everyone deserves access to you. Give your kindness wisely, because what you have to offer is too precious to be wasted on those who do not appreciate it. Kindness is a beautiful trait, but when it is unchecked, it can cloud your judgment. When you are overly kind, you tend to see the best in people, even when they repeatedly show you their worst. You make excuses for their behavior, hoping they will change. You ignore red flags, believing that if you are just a little more patient, a little more understanding, they will finally do better. But here is the truth. Some people do not want to change. Some people are not struggling. They are simply choosing to be who they are. And the more you excuse their actions, the more they will continue to take advantage of your kindness. You think you are giving them grace, but in reality, you are enabling them. You are allowing them to mistreat you, lie to you, and disrespect you, all in the name of being kind. This is why wisdom must go hand in hand with kindness. You must be able to see people for who they truly are, not just who you hope they will become. If someone consistently shows you that they are dishonest, unreliable, or manipulative, believe them. Do not let your kindness make you blind to the truth. The most powerful kindness is the one that is rooted in reality. It sees the good in people, but it does not ignore the bad. It is loving, but it is also discerning. Do not let your kindness deceive you, because if you do, you will wake up one day and realize that the very people you were trying to help have been using you all along. No one can repeatedly disrespect, use, or mistreat you without your permission. It might sound harsh, but it is the truth. If someone consistently hurts you, takes advantage of your kindness, or crosses your boundaries, it is because you have allowed it. Maybe not intentionally, but through your silence, your constant forgiveness, or your unwillingness to walk away. People learn how to treat you based on what you tolerate. If you never stand up for yourself, they will assume you are okay with being disrespected. If you keep forgiving without consequences, they will assume you will always come back. If you never say no, they will assume your time and energy belong to them. And they will keep pushing, keep taking, keep hurting, because you have never given them a reason to stop. But the moment you change what you accept, everything shifts. The moment you set boundaries and enforce them, people are forced to make a choice: respect you or lose access to you. And while some will be angry, the ones who truly care about you will adjust. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. If you do not want to be treated like a doormat, stop laying down. If you do not want to be used, stop giving to those who only take. If you do not want to be disrespected, start demanding respect. You are not responsible for other people's actions, but you are responsible for what you tolerate. Stop letting people mistreat you in the name of kindness. You deserve better, and it is up to you to make sure you get it. For too long, you have been conditioned to believe that making others happy is your highest duty. You've been told that being a good person means always being available, always saying yes, always making sure no one is upset with you. But at what cost? How many sleepless nights have you endured, worrying about what others think? How many times have you ignored your own needs just to avoid disappointing someone else? There comes a point when you must ask yourself, is their happiness worth my exhaustion? Is their approval worth my inner turmoil? The truth is, you were not created to be everyone's savior. You were not meant to carry the weight of making others comfortable at the expense of your own well-being. Real peace comes when you stop trying to meet every demand out of guilt, when you stop living under the pressure of others' expectations. It comes when you realize that your mental, emotional, and spiritual health are worth protecting, even if it means upsetting people. Not everyone will understand when you start prioritizing yourself. Some will call you selfish. Some will guilt trip you. Some will try to manipulate you back into your old ways. But remember this, the people who truly love you will want to see you at peace, not just see you bending over backward for them. You have a choice. You can continue living for everyone else, constantly drained, constantly sacrificing your joy, or you can start valuing your peace, knowing that you were never meant to live a life of exhaustion just to keep others comfortable. Choose peace. Choose yourself. Those who truly matter will understand. There is a fine line between being kind and being a doormat. Too many people cross that line without realizing it. They allow others to talk down to them, to disrespect them, to walk all over them, all in the name of being nice. But true kindness does not mean tolerating mistreatment. It does not mean staying silent when you are wronged, and it certainly does not mean sacrificing your self-worth just to keep the peace. If your kindness requires you to shrink yourself, to suppress your voice, or to endure constant disrespect, then it is no longer kindness. It is self-betrayal. You were not created to be weak. You were not designed to live in fear of upsetting people. You were made with value, with strength, with dignity. And anyone who demands that you sacrifice those things in order to be kind is not asking for kindness. They are asking for control. Think about the most respected people in history. They were kind, but they also carried themselves with honor. They were compassionate, but they never let others define their worth. They knew that true kindness is not about being agreeable at all costs. It is about standing firm in who you are, refusing to be degraded, and knowing when to walk away from those who refuse to respect you. You do not have to tolerate abuse to prove you have a good heart. You do not have to accept mistreatment just to be considered a kind person. Your kindness should never cost you your self-respect. Protect your dignity, set your boundaries, and remember this: the right people will appreciate your kindness, but they will also respect your strength. There is nothing wrong with being kind, but kindness without wisdom will destroy you. If you keep giving to those who only take, if you keep forgiving those who never change, if you keep saying yes when your heart is screaming no, you will wake up one day empty, drained, and resentful. The world does not need more people who are kind out of fear. It needs people who are kind out of strength. People who know when to give and when to walk away, when to forgive and when to let go, when to speak softly and when to stand their ground. You are not created to be used. You are not meant to spend your life pleasing people who do not care about you. Your time, your energy, your love, they are valuable. Stop handing them out freely to those who do not deserve them. From this moment on, choose to be kind. But be kind with wisdom. Be compassionate, but not at the cost of your dignity. Be generous, but not to the point of exhaustion. Set boundaries, protect your peace, and remember, you are not here to be everything for everyone. You are here to fulfill a greater purpose, and that purpose begins the moment you stop living for others and start living with strength.